Hello everyone, my name is Mary, and today we have another episode of Getting to Know the Tarot, and today's card is going to be the High Priestess. So during this, throughout this series, which is going to be a long one because there are 78 cards in the tarot, I go through each card, sort of look at its symbolism and investigate how it relates to your life. You know, where is this energy showing up for you? How can it benefit you? So today's card is the High Priestess. So let's jump right into it. I have here the High Priestess from the Smith-Waite Centennial deck. And the High Priestess is numbered 2 in the Major Arcana, which the Major Arcana are sort of representative of the soul's journey. This is not, however, the second card in the Major Arcana. It's the third because the first one is numbered 0. And that is the Fool, and it sort of represents you at the beginning of the journey. And each of the cards of the Major Arcana represent some sort of energy that you must encounter on your journey through life, that you have to sort of, incorporate or integrate into your life. So this one is the High Priestess, and she sort of symbolizes, she's sort of the feminine aspect of spirituality. The Hierophant being the masculine side of spirituality. So she's the more feeling side of spirituality. She's the one who wants you to look inward for your spirituality, who wants you to use your intuition. So let's dive right into some of the symbolism we've got here. So first off, you'll see the High Priestess. She's wearing blue, and she has behind her, there is a curtain with pomegranates on it. But behind that, you can clearly see that there's the sea behind her. There's sort of like the ocean is behind her. So there's water behind her, and her robes are the same color as the water. And in fact, as you can see at the bottom, her robes sort of dissolve into water. They sort of become very watery down here. And so water is, I think, the primary symbol of the card. And so the water symbolizes your subconscious. It symbolizes your feelings. It symbolizes being in flow. And so in order to investigate this spiritual journey that the High Priestess wants you to take, it means that you have to delve into your subconscious, delve into your feelings, your intuition, the more feminine side of things. Also, we have here on her chest a cross, and the cross symbol has several meanings to it, and one of them is the idea of the four directions, the 4 cardinal astrological signs, of the 4 elements, and also another meaning of the cross is the intersection of the human side of things and the spiritual side of things. And so, if the vertical axis would be like spirituality, God, channeling divine energy from above. And the horizontal axis would be like the human life, the physical plane. And so integrating both of those things, your spirituality and your humanness, is kind of the essence of what she wants us to do, of what she's inviting you into. On her head, she's got the sort of the phases of the moon. So there's the waxing moon, waning moon, and full moon sort of together. And that indicates cycles, indicates receptivity, feelings, transitions, and basically just the very feminine sort of cycles that our human lives often entail. At her feet, she has the crescent moon. And the crescent moon is a huge and important symbol. You'll see it on most High Priestess cards. The crescent moon indicates intuition. So how are we getting to this place of the spiritual, the mystical path? That would be through our intuition. Our intuition is what takes us into this watery flow, place of flow, this feeling, intuitive, subconscious place where the answers reside. Another important symbol that she has here is a scroll. So the High Priestess has answers. She has secrets to reveal to you. She has the answers that you seek. She has all the answers of creation that you could possibly want on your spiritual journey. She's holding those answers. An important aspect of the Smith-Waite High Priestess are the letters T-O-R-A, which appear on her scroll, Torah. If there is another letter, it is obscured. All we can see are T-O-R-A. And that would indicate the Torah, the Hebrew book of law. And so it's not just any information that she has for you, but she has divinely ordained law. She has sacred scripture. She has sacred information, the highest, the best, most divine information for you. She's holding it in her hands. And she's inviting you to come explore and find that information by going within, using your intuition to go within, really, tapping in, diving into that subconscious place where those answers all reside. And behind her, the infinite waters, the sea sort of represents infinity. It represents that there's all the answers you could possibly seek are available to you through her pathway, and her pathway is one of going within. So let's look at the pillars on either side of her. There's a black and a white pillar, and these pillars have several meanings. I think the most obvious meaning is duality. So they represent the black and white side of the world. So when you look at the world, a lot of times we see just up and down, black and white. We see the polarized energies that we have to navigate. And where she lies, where she sits, is in between those things. And she is sort of representative of the middle way. She represents that you can see and understand and navigate these polarizing energies, but you have to find a way beyond them. They are not the answer. She has the answer. Now on the Smith-Waite card, we see these pillars are marked with a B and a J. And so the B represents, I think, Boaz, and the J is Yaukin. And these are the names of Solomon's, the pillars of Solomon's temple. So this is a Hebrew indication here. So what this, I think, is symbolizing is that the pillars here are sort of holding up something great, that there is something majestic, that this temple that she sort of embodies is the highest of the high. It's a very holy place. These two names indicate that the pillars represent mercy and severity. So again, we have polarized energies. We have these this black and this white, this yin yang sort of thing that is happening here. And she is sort of representative of this middle way, this way that lies beyond the polarizing energies of the world. The curtain curtain behind her has a couple of indications. One, it sort of obscures the infinite sea behind her, the mysterious sea where all the secrets sort of reside. It sort of obscures this, and so it's not immediately accessible. It takes a little work. It takes a little investigation. You have to engage with your intuition. You have to go within to really get to the place where that High Priestess is asking you to go. On this curtain are pomegranates, and pomegranates have a couple of meanings here, and one of them is fertility. So inside there is an abundance of those seed type things. I'm not really a pomegranate person, so I don't know the name. I think there's seeds on the inside. So the multitude of seeds on the inside sort of represent fertility. But the main meaning here is the abundance of seeds on the inside sort of represents the mystical journey, the mystical path. And the mystical path, what she wants you to do is to go within. She wants you to go within, because within the pomegranate, when you open it up, you see a treasure trove. There's this abundance inside. It has a secret inside it that you cannot see, or you can't really access until you open it up. And so the pomegranate is the symbol for the mystical path, this path of going within, of using your intuition to access the secrets and the knowledge that is hiding within you. Another symbol that is not very obvious, but some people do see it and engage with it, is the idea that there is the arrangement of the palms for the palm tree and the pomegranates and some of the other things on the card sort of represent the Kabbalistic tree of life. And the Kabbalistic tree of life represents energies that sort of encompass the foundational energies of creation. So engaging with these energies and understanding these energies sort of helps you live your life to the fullest, and to access higher knowledge means that you must, engage with these energies. This arrangement is not obvious. It's not immediately obvious. I think there's like the palm and the pomegranates on either side of her headdress, her cross. I think that sort of vaguely indicate this tree of life. But this is not a symbol that I engage with very much currently, but it's just something I wanted to point out. But the High Priestess is all about inviting you into your soul, inviting you into the mystical path, the spiritual journey, which can only be engaged with by going within. You can only find these answers that she has for you by going within. You can only, receive the secrets that she has for you by going beyond the polarizing energies of the physical world, by seeing where those energies are and going beyond them to a place where you have to engage with the deepest, darkest part of you, your subconscious, the infinite waters of your soul. This is where she wants you to go. This is where the answers lie. And she wants you to engage with her through your intuition, through a very watery and feminine feeling state. Only through that intuition and that feeling state can you really find that place. Can you navigate those waters? There is only your intuition. There is help for you because the High Priestess represents divinity, represents the feminine side of the spiritual path. So what you're seeking is something good and great, but it takes you and your internal path to engage, to move forward. So I have some more High Priestesses for us to look at, and I spent hours scoping the internet, sifting through many High Priestesses, and I found 6 of them that sort of each reveal something unique, something special about the High Priestess. And after we go through those, I will go through how the High Priestess can help you in your everyday life, how she is a meaningful archetype for you. All right, so here we go. These are the 6 High Priestesses. So the first one is from the Tempest Tarot, and so the first one meaning the top left. So the one on the top left is from the Tempest Tarot, and what I love about this one is how immediately she just sort of grabs you with all of that water. So she's just rising up from the water. You can see the tendrils of her hair sort of pooling out around her in the water. And in her hands, it looks like, now I don't have this deck, I don't have any of these decks, so I've not really investigated the book that might come with these decks, so I don't know all the ins and outs, but from my eyes, what I'm seeing here is that she's got a globe, a watery globe in front of her, that she's holding the idea of the secrets of the answers that you seek come from the waters. She herself comes from the waters, and she is both, and she holds the waters in her hands. So she's not only rising up from this place of the deep dark sea, but she's holding the deep dark sea in her hands. So she has all of this beautiful secretive knowledge, for you. And she's just very much, I think, she immediately strikes you as being one with the sea, one with this watery, infinite place of the soul, that she has access to this. She is this. So what this High Priestess is showing me is that she both holds the answers, and she is the answer that you seek. She is the waters. She is, she is the path. She in her soul and her energy is the path that you seek. And as you can see, right above her head is the crescent moon, which indicates the feminine cycles, indicates intuition. The sky above her is this beautiful shade of blue. This High Priestess just is really striking with all of that beautiful water, and her oneness with the water is what really strikes me. So the next one is from the Cosmic Tarot, and this one really struck me because of all the symbols that are like, it's so jam-packed with symbols, but it's not too much. It's not like, sometimes a High Priestess card will have like way too much going on and you're like not even sure what to look at. Whereas this one has a lot going on, but you do know where to look because there's almost a hierarchy. The first thing that you cannot help but notice is her beautiful eyes. Those eyes that are just looking straight, straight through you. These eyes that are like seeing the answers. You can't help but feel that her eyes, that what she's looking at is the secret to creation. She is seeing the answers that you have been seeking. She is seeing them. She is seeing in her eyes lie these answers. And it's again a very poignant symbol of going within, that she is seeing this, that it's within her eyes, which are commonly thought of as the window to the soul. Within these eyes lie the answers. The next thing that you might notice is the yin-yang symbol right over her third eye. So the yin-yang, so again we have this beautiful symbol of polarities, the masculine, the feminine, the dark, the light. But this sort of symbol is sort of above her third eye, and it's beyond the yin-yang symbol, that where her third eye is able to gaze upon and see the truth and see the actual, the secrets and the answers that you might be searching for in your life. It's beyond this yin yang. So she sees the polarities, she sees the dark and the light. She is able to engage with that and understand it, but it is beyond that, where her answers, where her third eye is able to basically read the script of creation. Above her, like interposed on her face, is sort of like a sunshine and like rays of sunlight and water. So the water is absolutely a very obvious kind of symbol right there. There's sunshine on the left side of the card, and in my view, I see sort of like planets and stars on the right side of the card, sort of like in her hair and on her forehead. So we have the cosmos basically in existence on her face, and in her face is the water, the subconscious, this infinite pool of knowledge, the soul, this feeling place that she's inviting you to dive into her. Like you almost want to just, like dive right in to her face. Her eyes are inviting you there. The watery texture of her face is inviting you in to this place, to this pathway that only can be traversed by going within. And of course, another obvious symbol is the crescent moon, which takes up almost the whole, width of the card. And it's a very thin crescent moon, which is very striking, I think. Symbolizing, of course, intuition. Another really interesting thing that we have here on this one is a book. So it's not a scroll that she has, but a book. And this book has two symbols on it. It has on the left the symbol for the Alpha, and on the right the symbol for Omega. And this is the Alpha and the Omega. It sort of symbolizes God, because God comes before everything. God will be what is left over after everything. God is the beginning and the end. And so the secrets and the knowledge that she is inviting you to come and find out are the structural energies of the universe. The Alpha and the Omega wrote the book that she holds in her, in her energy, that she's inviting you to come see. And I love how the crescent moon is just right in front of that book. So it's so obvious that you have to use your intuition to penetrate these secrets. You have to use your intuition to get to the answers that lie in this book. So, such a beautiful, beautiful High Priestess. I absolutely love this one. The next one is from the Nosotras Tarot by Elisa, Riemer, or Riemer. I'm sorry if I didn't pronounce that correctly. I believe this is a Brazilian deck, and let me tell you, there's a lot of High Priestesses out there. There's a lot of tarot decks, and I've looked at a lot of High Priestesses, but this one struck me mainly because of her eyes. I absolutely love her eyes. They're not as like big as the eyes of the previous High Priestess, but she has she's very striking. Her face is beautiful and very striking. So in this High Priestess, we have a woman seated, and she appears to me to be possibly wearing some sort of like spiritual garb, or the costume of a spiritual person. She has like some necklaces around her neck. She seems to be in a pose of confidence, of like, I'm, where she understands her power, and she's sort of inviting you like to her throne almost. Of course, behind her, she has the pillars, the black and the white pillars that represent duality. Beyond that is the sea. And I love how there's waves and there's motion in this sea going on. And here's another interesting thing that I couldn't help but notice, is that she has her hands sort of like in front of her chest, but coming out of her hands is like a waterfall. It's a stream of water. And this reminds me of something that I just have to share with you. When I was in graduate school for music, and I was doing a research project on my favorite composer, George Gershwin, and I found a quote that I, to this day, remember. It really struck me. He said, "When I'm in a normal mood, the tunes come dripping off my fingers." And so that means like when he's in just his everyday state of mind, all he has to do is sit down at the piano and the tunes just fall off his fingers without his even trying. That's how much of a genius songwriter he was, that it just comes. And so this is what I see with the water coming out of her hands, is that when she's in a normal mood, the answers, the secrets of the universe just can't help but flow straight out of her. It's just so beautiful, really beautiful. Now, another interesting part of this particular High Priestess is that she has the crescent moon, again, an important symbol, but there is a woman sitting on the crescent moon. There is sort of like a moon goddess, I would say, some sort of personified energy of the moon. And this woman is sort of like looking up at the High Priestess, like the moon answers to her. She is the one in charge. She is the one who gets to, call the shots of the moon. I just think that's so cool. But once again, the most important part of this card is this beautiful woman's face, because she has such a peaceful expression. She has a calm and peaceful expression. And her eyes are gazing intently, and she looks as if it feels to me as though she's looking straight at me. So she's looking straight in the camera. She's looking straight at you. And what I get from this High Priestess is that she's not just looking at you. She's looking at the true you. She's looking at your soul. She's looking at the part of you that not even you can see. She has such an honest gaze that she can see beyond the lies and the illusions that you sometimes place over your own self. She can see beyond that. She has a penetrating gaze that goes beyond that. So moving on to the second row, we have the Anima Mundi Tarot, which has a owl on it, as you can plainly see. So as I was going through tarot, High Priestesses, I noticed the owl was an animal or a symbol that showed up quite often, more often than I thought, because I thought I knew all the symbols that are really connected to High Priestess, but the owl showed up quite a bit from my experience. I saw it more often than I expected to, and of all the owls that I saw, this one here was absolutely the most striking, because even before you're even like aware of what it is you're looking at, the beautiful white wings stretching across the card against that inky black background is so striking. It's so beautiful. And so this owl has such majesty, has such intense attractiveness. Like this owl, you can't help but when you see this owl, you want to engage with it. You want to understand what it has to teach you. You want you want to feel the soft white wings. You want to engage. You want to look at it, gaze at it. It's mesmerizing. And what I love about this also is that the duality is on the card very strongly in the difference between the black background and the bright white feathers of the owl. So the white against the black is the duality. And sort of the answers that you seek are within that duality itself. And of course, this owl is holding a scroll, which indicates knowledge, which indicates answers. And there are some berries at the bottom of the card that I don't know what they are. Again, this is not a deck that I own. But the berries to me represent that there is a reward for you. It's like the fruits of your labor. There is a reward for you if you engage with your intuition, if you dive in to this place of secret wisdom that can only be accessed within. If you dive into that place, you will be rewarded. There will be some sweet reward for you. What a gorgeous, gorgeous card. The next High Priestess is from the 78 Tarot. So there's several decks of the 78 Tarot, and the 78 Tarot has 78 artists, basically. Each one makes a different, creates a different card. And so it's not just one artist making the whole deck or a couple. It's one artist per card. And this one is specifically the Astral version. So it's the 78 Tarot, the Astral deck. And so you can clearly see that the astral aspect of the High Priestess is brought to the fore. It's really obvious because we have here a High Priestess that is really beautifully portraying the more modernistic, the more, it's the more, just wildly quantum, scientific, time travel. It's this astral version of the High Priestess. And what I love about it is that it really helps you to see that the High Priestess doesn't just have, answers that'll help you in your everyday life, or the average sort of enlightenment, milestones that everyone has for you. She has answers that might blow your mind. She has answers that go beyond the things that you are even aware of. So she has answers that come from, different realms. She has answers that come from the astral realm. She represents the quantum field. She represents the Akashic records, all these things that spiritual people sort of engage with, but we really have no, solid understanding about. So she really represents that she's ensconced in all of this sort of knowledge. She's ensconced in this beautiful world of knowledge that goes beyond your wildest dreams. And I just love how the card portrays it. So she's got in her hand these like weird sort of codes, which to me represent sort of angelic light language. She's got lightning bolts coming out of or going into her head. She's sitting inside the crescent moon. Again, the crescent moon is there, but it's not your typical crescent moon. This is a, digital, technological crescent moon with all these different lights. It almost reminds me of like a spaceship of some kind. Such a beautiful card. And of course, we've got light and dark energy on the card. Behind her, there's the black sort of side on the left and the white side on the right. So what a gorgeous, gorgeous High Priestess. And another thing about this High Priestess that I really want to point out, that I wasn't able to really include very much in my selections, was the fact that this High Priestess has curves. She's curvy. She has like these curvy hips that really show off her femininity, which I think is an important aspect of the High Priestess, that she is the more feminine side of spiritual seeking. She is the feeling, intuitive, nurturing side of your spiritual path. And so the fact that the artist has chosen to really portray that with her, beautiful curvy hips, is I think just a really beautiful aspect of the card. And it's a beautiful aspect of many High Priestesses that I looked at. So the last High Priestess is from the Alchemia Tarot. This is a Japanese deck, and it's a very brightly colored, sort of ethereal kind of deck. And so you're getting different colors here from this High Priestess than you normally get. I mean, there's a lot of colorful High Priestesses out there, but not quite like this. And the reason I chose it was because of this beautiful ethereal light that seems to be just shining down upon her face, over her head. It's just, she's being bathed in this divine light, like she's a chosen woman, like she has been blessed by God with these answers, with this mystical sort of spiritual gift. There's also rays of light coming out of her. As you can see, coming out from like behind her head, she's got rays of light. So this indicates that she is enlightened. She has light, and she has light and enlightenment to offer to you. And I love how beautifully peaceful she is. She has this scroll in her hand, and she has it in a very open and vulnerable position. It's not hidden beneath the cloak. She's sort of offering it to you, but the brilliance of this High Priestess almost makes you want to approach her with trepidation. It almost makes you feel like you need to, like approach her, on your knees, almost like ready in a bow, like in a reverent position, because there is something beautiful and divine about what this High Priestess has to offer you. So the card, of course, has the pillars on it, symbolizing the temple, the sort of the darkish pillar on the left, the lightish pillar on the right. So you've got that symbol. But what I loved most about this High Priestess is just her soft, bright, ethereal quality. And I want to point out one more thing that I just couldn't help but notice that the artist did, which obviously was a conscious choice because not every High Priestess has this, but you can see her toes peeking out from beneath her robe. You can see her toes, which I don't know what feet, symbolize in other cultures, but to me, this choice on the artist's part to give her, just to show that she's barefoot underneath her robes, I think shows a vulnerability and a softness and a comfortable, like she's comfortable with herself. She's comfortable with these in her place. She's soft and open and vulnerable. And I think that's just gorgeous. So these 6 High Priestesses, each one have something, unique to offer, a unique side of the High Priestess to sort of to show you. And I hope altogether we have a nice view of the High Priestess. But let's now talk about how the High Priestess can benefit you in your life. So how does the High Priestess, how can you incorporate this energy? How is it useful to you? The High Priestess is useful to you because I think the best way to see this is to know that you have access to the answers that she holds, that the answers are always there, that you don't have to stumble around your spiritual path in a place of not knowing or not understanding, that there's always hope to dive into these answers. The spiritual path is always available to you, but it takes this more feeling place. It takes this intuitive sort of approach to life, that you always have to make sure that you're engaging with your intuition in order to live your life, to follow the path that this High Priestess wants you to follow. Another thing that I think the High Priestess has to offer in your everyday life to engage with her is to understand this cross right here. To understand that your life has both of these axes at the same time, that you're always engaging with the human physical world, that you're always engaging with that, but you're also always engaging with the spiritual aspect, the vertical axis. You always have access to God and the divine and sacred answers. And the meaning of life and the spiritual energy behind everything is always there for you at the same time that you're, engaging with your physical existence. And so that's the spiritual path. That's what it is that can you live your life every day of your life, no matter what you're doing, if you're grabbing your coffee or doing your dishes or going to the bank or paying your bills online or whatever it is you're doing, whatever this is, this horizontal axis, whatever that is, can you also see the vertical? Can you also engage with that at the same time? The idea that there is more to it, that there is a divine and a spiritual aspect of you that is having a divine and spiritual experience, regardless of what this part is, regardless of what you're doing. I think that is one of the biggest and most important aspects of the High Priestess is truly understanding the spiritual path, that it is both that you have to engage with your humanness and engage with your spirituality at the same time. And another gift of the High Priestess is the understanding that there are secrets, that there is a deep, dark, mysterious, beautiful sea of infinite knowledge, inside your soul. And it's sort of like she's sort of asking you, she's beckoning you to come and explore that place of infinite knowledge. To explore that place, you can't use your logical mind. You must engage with your heart, with your intuition, with that feeling state. And so that is the gift of the High Priestess. So I hope you enjoyed all I had to say about the High Priestess. And I always like to end with a prayer. So my prayer for you, for me, and for all of us is that we might have the courage to use our intuition boldly and beautifully in every moment of our lives. Amen, amen, amen. I hope you enjoyed this, and I'll see you next time. Bye.